It's been a pretty nice day. Well, it's been a pretty nice couple of days. I'm really crossing my fingers that it's starting to taper off into a late spring where it's not so cold and rainy all the time. I was able to finally get the grass cut. I've been able to fill up the water tank several times now without having to flush out the well, because the well got dirty from the flooding waters that we've had. Not everything's so saturated, so getting some things done. Lizard in the wood pile. So yesterday I was telling you that the generator, the old one, the pull rope broke, and I thought I was going to be able to repair it, but it was all one unit. They had it all sealed up where you'd have to break it, which I did, to try to get it open to get it to rewind. I was unable to fix it. This is part of the piece that this right here was sealed against the bolt. It wasn't a bolt, it was like a pressed on a rivet type of thing. Well, anyway, when I tried to get it out, it broke that. So I ordered another one. I said in yesterday's video that I wasn't going to order parts, but it was $32. And I figured if I get even one more use out of it, it might have paid for itself. If the new one breaks down for any reason, I have to use the old one. Use the old one as a backup now. At least it would get me through, hopefully, until I can buy a new one. What I don't want to run into is I got to go to Tractor Supply store and not get the type of generator that I want. I'd have to get what they have on hand. With this new one, it's really nice, and it's dual fuel. Whereas there at the Tractor Supply store, I'd only be able to get gasoline, but this one's gasoline propane. So if this one breaks down and I have to get a new one, I can just rely on the old one for a few days and get the new one. I didn't want to spend the money on 32 bucks, but you know, it was $32. It's easy to waste $32, so why not waste it on something that it might last forever? Who knows? Could last one more try. And as you know, Carolyn and I have been really buckling down on food preservation. We've been talking about this quite a bit. And here recently, I've been talking about it quite a bit because YouTube videos have been doing really good anytime I talk about food shortages. Or our president said that we're going to have a worldwide food shortage, and it's coming. We just well prepare for it. Carolyn and I have always been pretty prepared for it since last year. We butchered chickens. We canned up a whole bunch of food. One person yesterday's video would be 2 days from you now, and I'm pretty sure he was a troll. I can tell the trolls. My trolls seem to think that I need to be spending money, that I'm a cheapskate. I get that a lot. But I let it go. I didn't block him. I let him be a troll. And of course somebody else replied, what do you mean, what's the end game? This is the end game, and I agree. This is the end game. I feel like maybe I can pass on some knowledge on what it is we do. Some of the things we do is trial and error, like letting the chicken lay on the eggs. We put 10 eggs down, we got 2 chicks out of it. Now we're going to incubate, and hopefully we'll have a much higher success rate. Hopefully we'll get 22 out of 22 eggs. Trial and error, and you get to learn some things that we're trying, some things that we've done before. We just got a new tool on YouTube, analytics. I don't know how many people actually pay attention to this stuff, but just yesterday, or I guess last night, we got a new tool. It's called a research tool, and it tells you what people are searching for. And one of the highest search things my audience is looking for when searching for videos is food shortages, food stuff, preservation, chickens, inflation, recession. So people obviously are concerned about this. This morning, pulled up a news host. I don't like telling you what news host we listen to, because then it becomes a political channel, and I don't want to turn this into politics. But I've heard a little bit of the rumblings about this for the last maybe a year or so. But there has been an extraordinary amount of food processing plants burning down. But something like in the last month, 13 food processing plants have burned down. Now, of course, there's all the conspiracy theories. And again, I try not to get into conspiracy theories. I try to get into facts. And the facts are, it doesn't matter why they're burning down, they're burning down. In the end, there's not going to be any food if they keep burning down. It doesn't matter why. So what's the end game? That was what this troll asked me. What's the end game? When are you going to start spending money? It's not one thing to have savings account, but it's another thing just to be hoarding your money. Well, I also, on a side note, if you must know why I save money, is for my retirement. I don't want to have to work. Oh, you get Social Security. Well, maybe, but I also like to live comfortably. A lot of people don't make that much on Social Security. I'd like to have whatever money I want. Just like now, I don't have to worry about money. I don't want to have to worry about money when I'm older either. So the president has promised that we're gonna have a food shortage. Tons of food processing plants are burning down. They say the bird flu is going around and they're having to kill a bunch of chickens in Iowa and Missouri and just everywhere, Georgia. Millions of chickens. I think they're up to 30 million chickens, maybe in Iowa alone. Don't quote me on that, but it's way up there in the millions, how many chickens they've butchered. And a lot of YouTube videos I've been watching are saying that there's an egg shortage already. Now, a lot of people have been telling me that it's politically related, that one side is getting more food shortages than the other side. Well, that's not true. One of the videos I watched is definitely in a non-food shortage state, according to all the theories here. Again, I'm trying to not to make this a red-blue, but you get the idea, I think. Everywhere. Missouri just happens to be somewhat immune to this problem, and I found out why. Missouri is one of the lowest priced states in the country. I think we're like number 40 or something. Our food costs and energy costs just isn't going up that high. On the other hand, neither is our wages. It's one of the poorest states in the country. But what I found really interesting, Missouri residents get government supplements the least. Very few government supplements, so we all rely on ourselves to take care of ourselves. So maybe this is a Missouri thing. So this person that said that what's the end game, there's no way I'd want to eat chicken and chicken eggs for the rest of my life. Well, why not? This is the difference between a relaxing lifestyle and a stressful lifestyle. In my mind, raising my own chickens, having eggs, plenty of food, and then all of a sudden they talk about massive amounts of food processing plants burning down and chicken egg shortages and chicken shortages and pork shortages and all kinds of stuff. I'm okay. The only thing I have to worry about is trying to figure out how to feed my chickens. And so Carolyn, like we've said many times, is going to start raising our own chicken food. Last year we accidentally grew some. We had the fancy scratch feed and the chickens threw it all over the place, and we had a big patch of it. And Carolyn was feeding them that stuff. Chicken food, although going up in price, it's not significant. I think we only paid $1 or $2 more per bag. But when you really think about it, and you go to the grocery store, we ended up spending $25 more on food this last time we went than we did the month before. So $175 is what we spent for a month's worth of food. If we're spending $2 extra for a month's worth of food for chickens, huge difference. And then of course we're gonna raise some more chickens, get some more food out of them, get more eggs. Eventually we should be able to be pretty much self-sustaining just on chickens. To me, the argument of I just can't eat one meal all the time, well, you could if you were starving to death. If that's all there was, you could. If you're not, then you will starve to death. Because they're already saying it. This is a food shortage. Just watched another video this morning, and I knew about this one. I think a lot of people did, that there is a water shortage in the West. I mean, we all heard about it. Lake Mead is pretty much dry, and the Colorado River is dropped in level, and it's really getting bad out there. Well, again, that won't affect me at all. We get our droughts, but they only last a year or so. But the well is always going to be available. The spring water is always going to be available. We got a spring down the hill. I've showed you that several times. Once you get on a carnivorous diet and learn, and Carolyn's getting really good at seasoning the food. Yesterday, she put brown sugar in my ham. And that was the first time I thought, you know what, I'm not a big fan of that. I didn't like that. It was actually pork. And so I put a little soy sauce on it, and it tasted great with the soy sauce. So now she knows that if she's going to put brown sugar in it, just to put a dab of soy sauce in it. Of course, soy sauce is bad for men, so you want to be careful you don't use too much. But Worcestershire sauce would have worked, anything other than just the brown sugar. So Carolyn's always learning how to improve the foods that we eat, repeated, like chicken and pork and eggs. Today she made omelets. Usually she makes scrambled eggs, but she made omelets. And I feel healthier. So there's another end game. Eating chicken and eggs, just a carnivorous diet, I feel healthier than eating all that corn and garbage. The corn and garbage, that is your end game. You're going to end soon if you keep eating that garbage. You breathe oxygen, what, every couple seconds? You breathe the same oxygen that you breathed in just a few seconds ago. I don't hear anybody complaining, oh man, the oxygen, I really need a different flavor of oxygen. Well, it's the same way with food. Food is a necessity. There is no reason to sit around eating garbage, making yourself feel good, wondering about the end game. The end game is you're going to die an early death because you're not eating healthy. You're more worried about the taste of things. Don't get me wrong, it's nice to have a good food that I like to eat. Makes it easier to eat, but I can eat some pretty nasty stuff. Then I got another comment, why don't you deer hunt? Well, because it's not in season right now. Secondly, in Missouri, you have to have 5 acres to get a multiple deer license. I only have 1.5 acres, so I'd only be able to get 1 license. And I think I got to pay for it. Not too sure about that. So I would have to go to a conservation area, and boy, those places are just dangerous. I mean, because there's so many people. I could hunt here, but I would have to make sure that I was able to harvest a deer without it running off, because then it would go on somebody else's property. I don't feel the need that I go hunting, although I've hunted a lot in my life. I don't need to. That's not something I have to rely on to survive. If you're relying on hunting, you're relying on luck. As things get worse, people are going to be hunting more and more and more because that's what everybody's thinking. Oh, I'll just go out in the woods and go hunting. They're going to run out of food. One of the things I notice around here is the lack of squirrel and rabbit. This is a poor area. It's because everybody's trapping them and eating them. If you're thinking, oh, that's what I'm going to rely on, you're just not going to get that many. I had a raccoon and possum problem last year. I haven't had any more. They're all gone now. I think if you're coming to watch this channel looking for an end game, then you're missing the point. This is the end game. This was the dream. This is what I wanted to live with. So if you can take a look at this up next box, I'd really appreciate it. Take you over to my other channel. So if I can inspire you to make your dream the end game. Thanks for watching.